Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome back to the Suburban Proletarian. My name is Greg, and today is a very auspicious day here at the channel. Today, we will surpass 500 subscribers. And for that, I really thank each and every one of you from the bottom of my heart. For those of you who aren't already subscribers, please consider doing so. It goes a long way to keep me here on the air. But at any rate, this has wildly exceeded my expectations when I started the channel 2 years ago, and I couldn't be more happy. So today's going to be a slight departure from the norm. The last video I posted, not the last one I shot. The last one I shot, I'm having trouble with the editing and everything. The last one I posted was about a Russian stopwatch, and incidentally, there's another one of those coming up. It's still in the Ukrainian Postal Service, so we're still waiting on that. But today I find myself with about an hour. My wife's getting ready to go out to dinner, and I didn't really have anything prepared, so I just kind of cast around the room looking for something to talk about. And one thing my eye landed on was this leather case, which has inside it a slightly different product than what we talk about. I've done some outdoorsy stuff like knives. Of course, we talk about watches. This, however, is a compass, and it's at least a military-style compass. My dad bought this about 15 or 20 years ago, and we were operating under the assumption that it was Eastern European in origin. Maybe Hungarian, maybe Czech, maybe Bulgarian, maybe Russian. But I've been able to find very little information about this compass online. So this is a little bit different than what I normally do. Normally I come here and try to share a little bit of my knowledge with you. And today I'm asking for you to help me with a little bit of your knowledge. People love dropping knowledge down in the comment section. So feel free to do so. That's what I'm here for. And let's go over to the tabletop. We'll take a quick look at the compass. I'll tell you what I know about it and what I can at least observe about it. And maybe someone out there can share with me what it actually is and maybe give me some history on it. Because I've been able to find some information online, but not really anything detailed. So let's go do it. Okay, so here is the compass in question. And again, this is going to be fairly brief because I don't know an awful lot about this item. And as you can see, it comes in a rather sturdy and rugged leather case with a somewhat unusual grain pattern to the leather. But it is leather. It's not some kind of pleather. There's just a aluminum stud attached to the bottom of the case here to retain the keeper strap for the flap. We open that and we can simply pull out the compass. It did not come with any sort of paperwork or anything. And we'll just put the case off to the side there. And what we have is a fairly unusual military Lensatic compass. It's kind of built in the style of Western NATO Lensatic compasses, but it's also distinctly different, let's say. And it does have quite a few functions. There's a brass bail on here with a very, very thin lanyard, which is made, I don't know, of nylon or maybe silk. The lid opens up in the standard fashion. And this is not plastic. This is pressed non-ferrous metal. It's non-magnetic. Obviously, it's a compass. So I'm assuming it's pressed aluminum, maybe brass. And it is Lensatic. And the needle is well damped, so it's obviously liquid filled. Obviously made for sort of precision navigation. There's a lot of, there are many, many, many degree marks on the dial. It has a silver-toned needle here, with white indicating a white arrow indicating north. And it does have a jeweled bearing. It's got a ruby in there that the needle rotates on. And it does seem to be quite accurate. It works quite well. The magnetic needle seems to be rather strong, and there's a sighting window here with markings that you can see. I don't know if that's some sort of those are some sort of targeting marks, or if they are for calculating magnetic declination or giving you an offset for magnetic declination. Just a plastic lens arm here to give you sighting of your bearing readings. So all in all, the compass itself works pretty much like any other Lensatic compass. It has nicely machined aluminum screws. It seems to be very incorporate very quality manufacturing techniques. There are little brass springs here to provide some tension on the arm to keep it from flopping around. The case is plastic, and it seems to be maybe phenolic resin. Or it could be nylon, I suppose. You've got a metric measuring scale on one side here for measuring off centimeters, presumably for taking measurements on a map. And if we flip the compass over, there's more map measurements. This is the only marking on the compass, by the way, this 80 ZBZ, and there's a small shield here with a number 40 in it. When you Google any of these markings, you will find, again, the compass, but no real information about it. This window does appear to be glass. This is obviously plastic. The crystal covering the compass also appears to be plastic. This, however, appears to be glass. And what this is a map measuring tool. You've got a little wheel here. You can set it down on a map and roll, and it will measure predetermined distances on the map according to the map's scale. So that's kind of neat. And lastly, it has a clinometer in here. You can see this sort of groove on the side of the compass body, and what that is a rudimentary set of what appear to be like pistol sights. There's a gap here which forms the rear sight, and there's a post in the front which forms the front sight, and you would aim it just as you would aim a pistol. And when you're aiming it, for instance, if you're aiming uphill, holding it like a pistol, there's a small button here which acts as a brake on the clinometer wheel in here. So for instance, you look down these sights, you aim it like a pistol at the top of a hill, you press the brake button, and you can hear the little clinometer wheel in there settle down, and you look at the reading and you can see, it's sort of difficult to read here. It looks like a 19-degree incline. I'm not sure about that, but anyway, it works when you're out in the sun and you can actually read through this lens a little bit better. It does work fairly well. So this thing's got a lot of functions, but I just have not been able to find out much information about this. Oftentimes, new ones that you'll see being unboxed on YouTube have a China sticker on here, so it may in fact be Chinese. These markings looked vaguely sort of Czechoslovakian or Hungarian to me, but again, I just don't know. So if anyone out there knows more about this compass than I do, maybe you've got some actual experience with it, maybe you can fill me in on some information, please comment down below. That's about all I've got to say about it. Let's move back over to the bookshelves and wrap this up. So hopefully some of you found this video to be interesting, if not terribly informative. Again, I don't really know an awful lot about that compass. If you do, please feel free to drop some knowledge on me in the comments section down below. If you did find this video enjoyable, please consider subscribing. To those of you who are already subscribed, those 500 of you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if you're already a subscriber, go ahead, click the like button, share, tell your friends. And when I post new content to the channel, I hope to see each of you here then. Later, guys.